Hi, it's Ashley from AB Sound Advice. Today we're looking at the Gold Note PA-1175 Mark II. This is a review on that power amplifier, and before we even start, holy Moses, or wow would be the word to use for this. I have played with some big power amps over my time, and this is certainly in my top 5. It's just sensationally the power, and as I've mentioned in previous reviews, we talked about, if you want to know okay, what was the preamplifier I've used for this, well, I actually did use the IS-1000 from Gold Note, and I also used the Master Sound Deventi valve amp, which, obviously one was staying with the traditional and the other way was allowing me to get into a tri-mode position. So wow, if you really want to get some power into your system, you're certainly not going to go past this Gold Note PA-1175. Now it's really I'll go through the specs as always, because that's always the coolness about this sort of stuff. It can also be used in mono, so let's give you some numbers. So the power output on this amplifier is 200 watts at 8 ohm per channel, so well and truly not much. It's not going to run, and if you decide to put it into the bridge mode, you're going to get around the 520 watts into 8 ohm, so not lacking there either. We're frequency response from 1 Hz to 100 kHz at plus minus 1 dB. The total distortion is at 0.1 at 20 Hz/20 kHz. Signal to noise ratio 110 dB. Dampening factor high 250 or low 25. The skew rate is 20V/US, or I think it is US, QS, I'm not sure. The audio inputs, we have 2 RCAs unbalanced, and we also have 1 XLR balanced. Of course, there's 2 inputs, so left and a right. And we also have sensitivity as 1 volt RCA, 4 volt XLR. The input impedance 47 ohms. And we're dealing with as I said, the audio output, speaker terminals, gold-plated binding posts, power consumption 1,200 watts max, and 1.2 watt in idle mode, and power supply is 100 to 120 or 220 to 240, 50/60 hertz. Power transformers 640 VA, and dimensions 430 by 135 by 370 millimeters, and weighs in at 20.5, and that is another one of those serious lifts. So let's get into it. Now I also, which wasn't interesting, I guess when we play with these things, we think to ourselves some of the features that are on board. We obviously have, that's the power button to turn it off. We also have the DF button, and it did give me I'm just actually, as we're going through this, I'm having another refresh on that. And here we go, DF, push the DF button to adjust the dampening factor from high 250 or low 25. When the DF is set to high, the status LED is in blue, which we can see there at the moment. When it is set to low, it is in green. So there it is, it's just changed to green. Every time the PA-1175 is switched on, the DF setting will go to high by default. So there you go, you've heard it directly from the manual. So let's go and have a look at the back of this thing. So let's come around the back, and again, look at the build quality. Italian made product again, massive componentry inside, and as I said, it is a sensational amplifier. Now, at the back end here, you can see here we've got our RCA unbalanced, our balance XLR, left and right. See here, so if we are going to run the mono mode, this becomes the positive, this becomes the negative. So one amplifier will then run the system, and the other amplifier will run the other. So you have 1 amp per speaker. So very, very nice. And you can see here, again, a little switch we've got it in stereo, so the light's lighting up in stereo. Flick the switch the other way and it'll move it to mono. And then you just obviously, you've got yourself a pretty serious setup if you have two of these things. I can tell you that right now. And of course the power switch here to turn it on and off. Right, I guess the big question. And I also use these, again, across a whole stack of different speakers, but the Audiophysic Midex was one of the speakers that I certainly felt that this was a really good match. And I noticed overseas some of the big boys, who are playing with this high-end stuff, were using two of these PA-1175s. I'd absolutely love to get a second one of these and hear them on the Midex. Just to, as you can imagine, anybody who's an audiophile playing in this high-end stuff, we all know these massive amounts of power is not to turn the thing up. This massive amount of power provides tremendous attention to detail and fullness at low levels. So it's not all about loud level. It's about at lower levels too. We're providing the most detailed and most enjoyable depth, and really the best of audio that these sorts of systems can bring. So I'm just going to quickly give you some of the other information from the site on this. Obviously it says the power amplifier is for the most demanding audiophiles. Well, clearly, yes, I would have to say I'm quite demanding, and I've had this for quite some time, and again, I can't fault it. Do I want to return it? Absolutely not. Do I want another one? Absolutely. So I think that answers that. It delivers a optical bias that delivers high power through ultra low distortion. The optical bias controls the voltage of the unit, featuring decoupling to overcome the downgrading solutions of traditional electronics, analyzing the signal. Yeah, I can see all that. So, and of course you've got that high quality aluminium finish, which is no argument. That's the thickest I've ever seen on an amplifier. So it's certainly been very well thought through. It can be easily bridged, as we went through, into the mono mode. And again, the power transformers in these things are a unique spiral nucleus, and the refined mechanical process makes the nucleus completely stable, cancelling any mechanical vibration to guarantee terrific performance and perfection. Insulation, while small secondary transformers transformer power the auxiliary functions, designated circuits outside the audio path signal. So again, you can see that everything's been thought through internally, separating anything that can cause any noises, or the dampening factor. As you saw there, you got the switch that you can, the button on the front that you can actually select. So now, all in all, if you're looking for a very high-end, big kick AB power amplifier, you really wouldn't go past this Gold Note PA-1175. And if you want to double it up, please message me, and I'd love to have some feedback from everybody out there who's played with two of these PA-1175s. It'd be great to hear what you thought. Obviously, I've already done this in the past. In the old days, I had a couple of NAD 2200 PEs, and there really is a big difference when you add two. But in saying that, back in those days, this is still a very significant amplifier. We're talking 200 RMS in its position where it's sitting in front of us, and then adding a second one, we're taking it to to over 500 watts a channel. So it's a pretty serious amplifier. So anybody who's run a pair of these in the mono way, please in the comments let me know. I'd love to hear any feedback. It'd be great to see what anyone thought of that. But from my perspective as a standalone, certainly right up there in my top 5 amplifiers in the sense of this type of amplifier. Very, very impressed. So again, big thank you to Gold Note. 10 out of 10 to the technical guys at Gold Note. I think they've come up with a fantastic power amplifier, and if anyone's listening over there, I'd certainly be very happy with a super deal on a PA-1175 for a second one. I mean, obviously, very, very impressed. So if you'd like to find out more information about the Gold Note PA-1175 Mark II, please duck on to hifihq.co.nz for New Zealand, or hifihq.com.au for Australia. And again, I do appreciate everybody supporting the channel, and we'll see you next time.